Now this is a story all about how I asked a guy for his number and he turned me down. There was this attractive guy who I was flirting with. He was flirting with me also. And I thought, oh my God, this is it. Not really. Anyway, he came over to my table and said, unfortunately, he was leaving. And I said, I don't normally do this, but could I have your number? To which he responded, if you don't normally do this, maybe don't start now. And I was like, what? Okay, so you don't want me to have your number? And he said that he was trying to be a gentleman. And I was like, okay. And just ran off. What the fuck? What? I've never asked a man for his number before, and I don't go out there and expect men to give me their number, but we were flirting. We were being really Why did he come over and say, I'm not giving it any more energy. I just wanted to share it because I'm never asking a man for his number ever again.
I don't know who needs to hear this today, but if a man buys you dinner, you do not owe him your body or really anything afterwards. I saw a video the other day of a guy who said that a woman who lets a man pay for her meals automatically gives away her freedom. The notion that a man putting his credit card down at dinner automatically puts me in a proverbial jail is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Because if a man thinks he owns you after buying a meal for you, that is not a man that lives in the 21st century. That is a man that thinks that the law of coverture from the Middle Ages still apply and that women are property once they marry. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Women aren't property anymore. They have careers, they own property, and they're smart enough to realize that you can have a man pay for your dinner and still make more money than him. Because it's not about the money, it's about the gesture. And a man who has a problem paying for the first few dates is going to have a problem later down the line being gracious about anything because he's always going to be afraid you're taking advantage of him. So he's going to spin the narrative that the only way you retain your freedom as a woman is if the relationship is split exactly 50-50 down the middle, when in reality he's unable to bear your children. So where's the fairness in that? Ladies, I hope you remember that wanting a man to be chivalrous does not make you any less of a strong, independent woman. It just makes you a woman who realizes that a strong, independent man making his own paper is not going to have time or energy to give a rat's behind about what paying for your dinner may or may not mean.
Yesterday, my friend told me she was going on a date, and I was like, that's so exciting. And she's like, I mean, not really. I'm not super interested in him. And I was like, why would you say yes then? And she was like, I mean, my last relationship, I wasn't super interested in him at first, but love and attraction definitely grows, and we had an amazing partnership for a very long time. I also have just been saying no a lot recently and have kind of put off dating, and I feel like I'm just not putting the best energy out into the universe, and I kind of just want to get back into the swing of things. It really got me thinking, like, is dating to date a good thing sometimes? Like, if you haven't dated for a really long time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I do feel like sometimes you can fall out of your attraction state or your dating energy. Sometimes maybe it's a good thing to push yourself to get back out there and be in that fun, flirty energy. In all honesty, some of the people that I know that have the best relationships, it wasn't sparks flying at first. I think taking chances and just going on dates with people that maybe you wouldn't normally go on a date with, you might surprise yourself. Definitely going to try this myself.
Listen to me. If you are dating and you are looking for a serious relationship, you need to follow this rule. Under no circumstances should you be entering that man's apartment before the third date. I don't care if he says, I'm going to cook you dinner, come over. Or after you've gone out, he says, come up for a drink. Or let's meet at mine before we head out. You are not to enter his apartment because it puts you in a tricky situation. There's not a clear ending to the night if you're just hanging out there. It's harder to get up and leave when you're hanging out on his couch having a glass of wine and he's like, no, stay longer. And you might end up doing something you don't really want to do. And it just makes it too easy for him. This applies to the reverse too. He should not be in your apartment or your home. Do you know how hard it is to get a man to leave once he's inside your space? Also, being inside someone's home is very intimate and personal. Don't cross that threshold until you're really trusting of somebody. Once you go into each other's homes, it's like a new level unlocked. It's intimate, it's personal. And odds are, if you're in his home or he's in yours, you're probably sleeping together. You're gonna turn on a movie, you're gonna cuddle, which is all amazing, but save it. You don't wanna feel awkward if you wake up there in the morning and you're gonna have to tiptoe out because you don't really know them that well. You don't know if you're gonna see them again. What if you leave something there or they leave something at your place? There's just so many tricky situations that happen when you start hanging out in each other's apartment. And I think that should be saved till at least date 3 or 4. Just my opinion. Good luck.
What are the expectations on a third date? I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I'm going on a third date tomorrow. This never happens. It's usually only first dates that I go on. And the last time I went on a third date, I got ghosted. So I'm really excited about this date. I'm excited to see him. However, I feel like with date number 3, sometimes people have certain expectations. Especially because he is inviting me over to his place. and he's going to cook for me. So I feel like that also adds to a certain expectation. However, I just don't know that I'm ready for that yet. I like him. I do. I will tell you that I like him. That's why I'm going on a third date. That's why I'm going to his place. But I don't know that I'm ready to go there yet. But I'm worried that he is going to expect that. He's going to have that expectation. So what do I do? Because this is not a normal situation for me to be in. As I never go on third dates. How do I handle this? Do I address it beforehand, or what do I do?
Unpopular opinion, dating for fun is not fun. Dating for fun has been so normalized, okay? And Fiji, and the long-term consequences should not overshadow the temporary enjoyment. The impact that casual dating has on future relationships is pretty negative. Take a second to think about it. By engaging in casual dating, you're normalizing non-committal behaviors. So it ends up becoming harder to transition into being in a committed relationship because you're so used to this non-committal behavior pattern. Your time is precious, okay? So spending your energy on something that isn't going to give you back any emotional or relational benefits is a waste of time. Now look, dating for fun is a recipe to experience significant harm. Constantly jumping from one relationship to another is devaluing your worth. It is a privilege, okay, for somebody to have access to your time, your body, and your energy. Casual dating does not find its place in the Bible for a reason. And think about it, what is the end goal when both parties are not seeking a deeper level of commitment? Like, what are you doing? Your time is valuable. Like, whenever a guy tells me I'm just trying to go with the flow, or I'm just trying to have a good time, like, bye. I'm not a flow. I'm trying to have a good time. I'm trying to have a good time my ass. Casually dating primarily centers focusing on the present without much consideration to the future. And so I pose to you this question. Is your future not worth prioritizing?
So I met this guy in a dating app and we both agreed that we wanted something casual, okay? And at the time I did want something casual. I really wasn't looking for a serious relationship, and we were having fun together. We were hanging out a lot, and eventually at some point or another, one of us was obviously bound to caught feelings, and it was me. And I basically expressed to him that I wanted to date him. And he proceeded to not respond to that text for 2 days. And then when he did respond, he said, I'm willing to see where it goes, which is not a yes or no answer at all. And I agreed to it. Let's see where it goes, whatever. I was still really confused. I had no idea if that meant if we were dating or not. And then for the next 3 months, he proceeded to ruin my life. So this is your reminder. If a guy isn't saying yes, it's a no. That's all.
One of my guy friends explained this to me, and I truthfully haven't been the same person since, but I think you guys need to know about it. The one-night relationship theory. One of my best girlfriends and I were having lunch, and she was complaining to me about how this guy that she had hooked up with was super open and vulnerable with her when they were hooking up, but then she saw him at a party and he didn't even acknowledge her presence. And what she couldn't understand was, if he did want just something casual, why did he feel the need to share every intimate part of his life, trauma dump, seek counsel? And what my guy friend explained to me was the one-night relationship. Although this is a questionable statement, you know, guys are human beings too. They crave love, intimacy, connection. But when there's just so many options and they're still adventurous and looking to hook up and have fun, they're not going to commit to something full time. But what they will do is act like they're in a relationship for a night. Hence the one night relationship. During this night, they'll cuddle you, they'll trauma dump, they'll hold your hand, they'll tell you all their deepest, darkest secrets. And then the next day, they might not even say hello to you. And although it's up, men do this a lot. So unfortunately, ladies, if they're being intimate and vulnerable with you one night, that doesn't mean that they want a relationship with you for forever. Oftentimes, it's just because they have feelings too and they want to connect with a person, but not long term.